Hello, my name is Robert Martin. I'm a graduate student at East Carolina University, and today I'll be talking about Splunk Enterprise. So what's on the agenda for our talk? First, I'm going to talk about what Splunk is and its function. I'm going to describe machine data. I'm also going to give you some machine data sources. I'm going to talk about how Splunk reduces complexity, talk about Splunk's capabilities, and I've got two demos I'd like to share with you. So let's get started. First of all, what is Splunk? Splunk makes machine data accessible, usable, and valuable to everyone who uses the tool. So what does it do with this machine data? And what is machine data? So machine data contains a definitive record of all the activity and behavior of your customers, users, transactions, applications, servers, networks, and mobile devices. And machine data comes from an array of unpredictable formats, and the traditional set of monitoring and analysis tools, they're not designed for the variety, the velocity, the volume, or the variability of this data that's coming in from all these sources. So what are these machine data sources? A couple examples are application logs. So these are local log files, WebLogic, WebSphere, JBoss, .NET, and PHP. So within these application logs, there's user activity, it can be fraud detection, and of course something that's very important is the application performance. Another machine data source is business process logs. These are business process management logs, and they can contain customer activity across various channels, purchases, maybe some account changes, and troubleshooting reports. So how does Splunk reduce complexity? So traditional approaches to managing IT are limited and locked to technology or that functional silo. So many times you need a separate tool for each kind of data or task you're trying to analyze or collect. So this machine data that's being outputted is the critical source of truth regarding what is happening within the perimeter of the IT infrastructure. So let's talk about some of Splunk's capabilities. So it can universally index machine data from virtually any source. It enables free-form search and incident investigations from one place, one-stop shop. It automatically can discover knowledge from data and let their user add their own type of data. It can monitor data and provide real-time alerts when specific conditions arise. So that could be someone logs on to an application and it fails more than 3 times, then that data can give you a real-time alert that, hey, this person is trying to log on, maybe it's a brute force attack. It can provide powerful reporting and analysis. And what's really neat about Splunk is it can provide the ability to create custom dashboards and views for different roles. So your security person can have a dashboard that can look at all the sources across different verticals. Maybe you have data center engineers, maybe you have system administrators, network administrators. They all can create their own views and draw data from their different sources, and then security can take a look at all of these very holistically. The nice thing about Splunk is it scales. Any technologies that we buy, we want to make sure that they can scale effectively across our environment. So it can scale efficiently using commodity hardware, depending on what you're running. So let me go ahead and get the demo started. And the first thing we're going to look at is creating alerts. So let's go ahead and get the demo started. So the first thing that we're going to look at is to create tags to identify product parental ratings. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to run a search. So we're going to enter into the search panel. It's located here, and we're going to type source type And we're going to have our source type equal access underscore combined. And then we're going to look for a category ID that's going to equal a wildcard. So when I put that information in, take just a moment for Splunk to come up. And you notice I've got a lot of results here. I've got the search fields on the left, and I've got the actual results on the right-hand side. So the first thing I want to look at is the fields category. So underneath search fields, interesting fields, I can actually see the category ID. So that's set up. I've got 8 of those. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run a search on category ID. So I'm going to take my category ID and I'm going to have that equal sports. So when that comes back, that's going to have me another list there. And I'm going to use this first event. So if you go to the first event and you use the down arrow, and once that goes down, you're going to look in the action column. And then I want to look for edit tags. So for this field value, if you see here category ID equaling sports, I'm going to have that tagged as general. So I'm going to load that as general, and I'm going to hit save. Okay. Now I'm going to run another search, and I'm going to use category ID here to equal strategy. It'll take a moment to populate those results. And I'm running this search in the last 24 hours. As you can see from the drop down here, you can actually change that, but I'm just running those in the last 24 hours to give you an idea of just the amount of volume. Now this is test data. This is not live data. This is a test environment. So these are ways for me to train and learn how to use Splunk effectively. Share that with you without sharing any sort of sensitive data. So in the first drop down here, I'm going to look again for category ID. I'm going to slide across here to actions, and I'm going to edit that tag. For this one, I'm going to have the category ID strategy equal PG13. So I'm going to tag that data. All right. Now I'm going to run one more search here for category ID equal shooter. Now these are games. This is a environment that's looking up gaming information. So category ID would be shooter. And again, I'm going to grab that first event. I'm going to go down to that category ID there. I'm going to drop down. I'm going to edit that tag. And I'm going to give that, since it's a shooter game, an ID of mature. So now, once I have those, I'm going to show you these 3 tagged different categories that I looked up. So I'm going to go back to another quick search, and I'm going to put in my source type. And if you notice that Splunk is really neat to remember things that you've typed in. So that will auto-complete for me. Take just a moment to collect the information. But if I slide down on the left-hand side and look in my searches, I will find my tagged data, which is really not only interesting, but saves a bunch of time. So with Splunk, it gives you quite a bit of power and the ability to search and tag data and extract fields with ease. And again, this is a test environment. However, when I created my tags, if I click on these, it'll actually show 2 of my tags if you see them there. There's my PG13. We have 594 on those count. And then the general tag that I made has 94. So Splunk is not only extremely versatile, but it's something that can sort through a tremendous amount of data extremely fast, simple, and customizable. So I wanted to thank you for your time today, and if any of you users are out there that are currently using Splunk, Not only is it an extremely versatile tool, but it gives us the ability as IT professionals to not only search, but we can tag our data. And this is just, again, one video in a series that I'm hoping to create to enable Splunk users to use it more effectively and easier. Did want to take just a moment and share with you the references that I used here. This was a Splunk Enterprise environment, and both of these resources are great. Splunk has some tremendous material out there that you can use, so feel free to use those sources. I do appreciate your time today. I do appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit about Splunk with you, and I look forward to making the next video. Again, my name is Robert Martin. I'm with East Carolina University. I'm a graduate student in network technology with a concentration in information security, and I look forward to talking with you again soon.